Coming up on the road to WACVegas, a rematch of a game that came down to a buzzer beater. We'll talk with CSU Bakersfield's head coach Rod Barnes, plus it's the final week of the regular season and seedings are up for grabs. That's all ahead on the road to WACVegas. Welcome to the road to WACVegas. I'm Rachel Vigil. It's the final week of the regular season. How can that even be possible? And I've loved putting together this show every week and getting to talk to some of the best student athletes and coaches all season long. This week we've got CSU Bakersfield and Utah Valley in our WAC Spotlight game on ESPN+. That will be Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. The last time these two teams played each other, this happened.
No Damian Durham. Jarkel Joyner can win it, pulls it. Tajay Moore! It counts! Tajay Moore!
And 2 years ago in the WAC tourney, these two teams met again, forcing the game to go into overtime. Not once, but there were 4 OTs. So needless to say, we're hoping for a good game on Saturday night. As for the squads, Utah Valley is tied for number 2 in the WAC behind junior Jake Tolson. As of last week, the guard is the only player in the entire country who has played 20 or more games while shooting better than 55% from the field, 45% from three-point range, and 85% from the charity stripe. Tolson's 47.6% from behind the arc is the best in the WAC. He was the WAC Geico Athlete of the Month for the month of February. For the first time in school history, the Wolverines have back-to-back 20-win seasons. UVU is currently 21-8, while 10-4 in conference play. CSU Bakersfield has Damian Durham, who set a WAC record for most career three-pointers. They also lead the WAC and rank second in the country with 14.39 offensive rebounds per game. They also have Jarkel Joyner. He's currently second in the WAC in scoring, averaging 16.6 points a game, and he's coming off a game where he put up 29 against Grand Canyon. That's the second most in his career. Joyner averages nearly 20 points per game in league play, putting him on pace to become the first Roadrunner to lead the WAC in scoring during league play. Oh, and did I mention that he's only a sophomore? Coming up next, we're going to be joined by the head coach from CSU Bakersfield, Rod Barnes. You are watching the road to WACVegas.
Adrenaline, passion, triumph. Moments that'll never be forgotten. The 2019 WAC basketball tournament at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, March 13th through the 16th. Be a part of the madness. Get your tickets now at orleansarena.com.
Welcome back to the road to WACVegas. Our spotlight game of the week is Utah Valley taking on CSU Bakersfield, and we're now joined by the head coach of the Roadrunners, Rod Barnes. Coach, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Getting ready for Vegas next week. What about yourself?
It's the same here. We have a couple more games, but I am preparing for next week. It's a big week for us.
You know, you obviously want to win. You've got Seattle U and Utah Valley, but what other things are you looking to accomplish this week?
Well, we like to play a lot of players. Obviously, next week when you're participating in the tournament, 3 days, 3 games, hopefully we'll be in all of those games. But you want to have some a bench that has had some experience over the last couple of weeks. So we've got to get some guys that haven't played as much, some playing time this week, hopefully. And so that next week, everyone will be prepared to play because, again, we all been planning for this next weekend. And obviously, it's the most important weekend of the season. So we're going to try to be prepared for it.
Now let's talk about Utah Valley. You guys played earlier this season. You had a buzzer beater. You've had a couple of buzzer beaters this season. Obviously, it's a good thing because you're winning the game, but do you wish it wasn't so nerve-wracking?
Well, I mean, I just wish we would play better. Obviously, as a coach, you don't want to get to the end and on the last play have to make a buzzer beater, especially to win the game. It's been a long time since we played them, but we always have a good game against their team. It's always, not always, but most of the time, it's a good matchup. And I think this year it'll be a good matchup for us too. But, you know, as a coach, you're hoping that you can win the game before the last second. I mean, those are not fun. It's not good for your health, not good for keeping gray hair out of your head. So obviously, hopefully as we go up there this week that Well, hopefully we win, but definitely if we can stay away from a buzzer beater, that'd be great.
You know, you guys have shown that you guys can play a pretty intense game, that 4 OT game back in the tournament 2 years ago. Do you remind your guys of that game ever?
I don't. I think about it all the time. And we had only 2 players that were on our team at the time. And obviously that's one of those games that you always will remember. It'll always be talked about. I mean, 4 overtimes and the tournament play to make it to the finals and then go on to play New Mexico State. So I talked to Coach Pope. I'm always joking with him, and I told him we don't want that to continue to happen. So hopefully on Saturday when we play the game, we can end it in regulation. Obviously, hopefully we'll be on top. But the experience that we've had at the WAC tournament there in Vegas has been unbelievable for us. We've had some really good game and a few buzzer beaters and overtime. So, again, we're looking forward to next week's game.
And you're on the road for both of your games this week. Does that help with preparation for Vegas at all?
Well, I think so. I think, just once you've kind of gone on the road and you've been there, I think it helped us also because as we get back from the 2 trips, we actually be playing at a neutral site. And it's not as tough as a neutral site when it is on the road. So we would have had 2 games on the road, 3 in a row to this coming week. But also now to get to a neutral site, get away from the other team's home environment. But also it helps us because we've been on the road. And I think our guys will be really prepared and excited about playing.
And what's it like to be a coach when you see your players like Damian Durham setting a WAC record for 3-pointers?
Well, it's huge because there's been so many great players, and it's humbling as a coach. It's been so many great players in this league and that have gone on and done great things. And to have a player that was standing at the top of any record in the WAC is an accomplishment for the student athlete. But also, as a coach, you're proud. Just to say that a player here from our university, that someone that I coach, that's at the top of the records, it means something to our program, and obviously it means something to the student athlete. And as a coach, you're just a proud coach to see someone accomplish something that is really hard to do.
And Coach, after the Grand Canyon game, you said, quote, "We're back to who we are." Who is the CSU men's basketball team?
Well, we're a team that, we're very competitive. We play really tough on the defensive end. We share the ball. We still are having some things that we have to improve on. But for about 2 or 3, 2 weeks here, I just thought we were playing. And I think it's a difference between playing and competing. And I thought in the Grand Canyon game, I thought we competed. I thought we fought every possession, even though, some things didn't go our way. You may not make a play, but our program has been built on playing hard and competing until the game is over. And I felt like the previous 2 weeks, we had lost some of that intensity, lost some of that focus, and lost some of that desire to compete. And I think we're back now.
Well, Coach, I hope that continues on this week and then in WACVegas. I appreciate your time with me today.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me on.
Best of luck in WACVegas, and when we get back, we'll be checking out the women's teams for this upcoming week.
In the WAC, we take pride in our character.
When we win with humility.
And when we lose with dignity.
We know that how we act toward our opponent, the officials, and the fans defines the game.
Not the scoreboard.
And we know that showing respect will always outweigh any trophy.
Because when we focus on fair play,
We can't lose.
good sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Welcome back to the road to WACVegas. It's still hard for me to believe that next week at this time, we'll be playing some tourney basketball. A good matchup on the women's side this week is UTRGV and California Baptist. They will play on Thursday night in Riverside on the WAC Digital Network. The Lancers currently sit at number 2 in the WAC standings, but we won't be seeing them out in WACVegas. The NCAA transition rules have them sitting out of the tournament. Out of the top 5 3-point shooters in the conference, the Lancers have 2 making the list. Lexi Ram and Emma Marigoli, who are both shooting at least 40% from the arc. You'll be able to see Brittany Thomas play a few more times. She leads the WAC in rebounds, averaging 11.4 a game, and she's 4th in points. Thomas has 17 double-doubles this season. The Vaqueros are currently the 2nd seed for Vegas and are just a half game behind CBU. They are number 1 in the WAC in scoring defense, giving up just 61 points per game. They also beat the Lancers the first time they played back on January 5th by a score of 60-56. Madison Northcutt has emerged for UTRGV. She came in clutch the other night against Kansas City, scoring the go-ahead bucket in the final minute. She leads the Vaqueros in rebounding at more than 8 per game, which is 5th in the WAC. This is the senior's only season at UTRGV. She played 3 years at Division II Pittsburgh State in Kansas for the current Vaqueros coach, Lane Lord. Other games you'll need to check out this week. On the men's side, Grand Canyon will be at Utah Valley. That's probably going to be the game of the week as it's a battle for the number 2 seed. Check it out Thursday night at 7 p.m. on the WDN. Then on Saturday, Utah Valley will take on CSU Bakersfield for the women. That's a 2 p.m. tip on ESPN3. That could have ramifications on the WAC tournament seedings. Let me know on Twitter if you're coming out to Vegas for the tournament. And if you haven't bought tickets, then make sure you go get yours from Ticketmaster.com so you can experience the madness. We'll see everybody in Vegas. For the WAC Digital Network, I'm Rachel Vigil.